Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so now I want to react to Coach Ham's press conference, which I really thought was great. I think he knocked it out of the park. I felt very confident that we picked up a guy that we can believe in. And I don't think I've been this excited after a press conference, an introductory press conference for a coach, maybe ever, quite honestly. Maybe, well, Phil Jackson, of course. But I think aside from that, yeah, this is it. This is it for me. And it's not about necessarily walking away feeling like I understand what type of coach he's going to be. I think I walked away understanding that he's going to capture the attention of people who are going to probably believe in him in such a way that they're going to run through a wall for him. I think he's going to be a more relatable coach than we've had maybe since Phil Jackson, maybe even more so in some ways, because of his status as a player, because of his status as one of the guys, you know what I mean, in his personality. I think it's going to really vibe well with a lot of the young guys. And I just like the trend that's going on in the league, where you're giving opportunities to coaches that haven't had an opportunity, guys who have paid their dues. Now they get a chance to get their opportunities, and of course they can start their coaching tree, which is really what coaching is all about. You know what I mean? Coaches get game from other coaches, and then they share it with other coaches, and then you see great coaches emerge from there. That's what it's all about. So if we keep recycling the same coaches, they recycle the same assistant coaches, and new assistant coaches there, like Rasheed Wallace, don't necessarily get the opportunity. So this gives new branches, new trees, new life. So I really like the idea of that in this league. Coach Ham mentioned sacrifice a lot. That was a key word that everybody's pointing out that he said, and I think it's important that I do so as well, because I think that's what it's all about for the Lakers this year. We understand that guys are going to have to play hard. They're going to have to carry weight that maybe other teams' role players won't, because of the lack of ability to build properly that we have right now with no cap space and no picks and stuff like that. It's going to be very hard to get quality talent in role-playing situations, which means stars are going to have to be healthier. Guys are going to have to take on bigger loads. You're going to have nights where some guys play 41, 42 minutes in like December and January. We're not going to be using our bench very much, and if we do, we don't expect that they're going to give us a lot. So it's one of those situations where it's up to the stars and the coaching staff to create a culture with limited resources to get the most out of the basketball club. Now, I don't think that's a recipe for winning a championship, but I do believe that you can walk away from the situation feeling a lot better about yourself at the end of the season, and maybe developing some assets where otherwise there isn't any. Getting some guys to play outside of themselves, getting some guys to overachieve in their contracts so that we can trade them in the offseason next year and get ourselves some of those assets that we don't have right now. So we're chipping away at what we think can be, what we think will be a difficult era in the Laker history, to be honest with you, because we know that we're at a disadvantaged position, and we also know that the rest of the league is very happy with us being in that position. So they're going to lowball us even more than they would someone else in this position, just to keep us down. So we're going to be down. But what we also understand is we have a brand new coach. We got some guys on our team who already play outside of themselves. Luckily enough, we got some great contracts, believe it or not. Austin Reeves, I think, is fantastic, even though we botched his signing. So we're going to have to pay him next year instead of the year after, which is a very, very, very difficult thing for us to manage as well. But these type of mistakes have just already been made. So now it's about managing what's already done and not making any more mistakes. So I just think the Lakers, given the fact that they're committed to LeBron James, Anthony Davis, I think the most important thing for the Lakers to do is try to secure that $47 million of cap space. That Russell Westbrook represents. I think that going forward with Russell Westbrook on the basketball floor is an ill-advised decision based on what we've already seen last year. But going with him cap-wise at $47 million is irresponsible. Very different conversation because of what we have going on with the other caps, the other contracts, and the other cap situation. It is, in my humble opinion, irresponsible to bring back Russell Westbrook at $47 million to play this season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Irresponsible. It's nothing short, y'all. And that's the thing. It's not about his basketball play. It's not about what you saw from him last season. It's about what it is that his contract represents and what it is that you need in that money. You should not do that. You know what I mean? It's that simple. You should not do that. And if he were somebody else who played a lot better, you still shouldn't have a $47 million one-year contract on the books this season. That's the point. That is the point. It doesn't matter if it's Russell or not. No one should be representing that much money in this cap situation. No, it's irresponsible. So the Lakers are, it's their duty to get rid of it, even though the media doesn't necessarily tell you that, even though the Lakers are not posturing like they're going to do so. Obviously, you saw Russell Westbrook at the press conference last night. You know what I mean? So the chance of them bringing him back are pretty high, unfortunately. I do think it's a chance that this irresponsible thing may take place. But it ain't going to be because the Lakers don't understand it's irresponsible. It's because they can't get rid of him for a price that makes sense if that were to occur, which I actually don't think is going to manifest. As the summer progresses, I've been telling you guys this for weeks. I think that contract holds plenty of value, and I think those behind the scenes know that. They know it. But everybody got to play their role, and it ain't no sense in letting the Lakers know that you know that contract is worth something. So everybody knows the Lakers are at a disadvantaged position, as I said, and they're going to play their roles. They're all going to do what they're supposed to do from their position. But know this: Russell Westbrook is not going to be a Laker next year if what should take place takes place. Period. I don't care what you saw at the presser. He ain't going to be a Laker. Now, at this point, you just understand that the Lakers are going to do this. They're going to free up that cap space. And the question is, can you get something for that contract that you like? And the chances of you getting something that you like is very slim because of what we've already discussed. So, like I said, it's likely that we do find ourselves being forced to keep him. And it looks like we're doing our due diligence to assure that if that's the case, we're prepared for it. That's how I'm taking everything going on in regards to the Lakers and Russell Westbrook. That's how I'm taking it. I don't know that the rest of the media is going to do that. I don't think the Lakers organization necessarily wants the masses to be saying what I'm saying or thinking what I'm thinking, because it doesn't keep us in a position of advantage if everybody knows what it is that I believe is the case. But nevertheless, it's the case that Russell ain't going to be a Laker next year unless something goes completely wrong. And I'm willing to bet that if we're not able to trade Russell Westbrook this offseason, this is me talking. I ain't heard nothing. This is just my head manifesting whatever the heck it comes up with. But I'm telling you that I believe if Rob Pelinka does not get rid of that Russell Westbrook contract this offseason, he going to be gone next offseason. That's what I think. That's just me talking. I ain't heard nothing. I don't know Jeannie Buss. I don't know nobody in the Laker organization. I'm just a guy who's looking at the tea leaves, and I'm telling you, if I'm Jeannie Buss, that man better get rid of that damn contract. I don't give a damn what we're saying to the public. I don't give a damn what we're saying to the media. I'm telling you, your job is to get rid of that contract. I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay that luxury tax. Right? I don't want to pay that. This dude ain't going to do that. He ain't going to pay. He's not going to give me $47 million worth of basketball next year. Okay? And I don't have other picks and stuff to make it so that I can bring him stuff that's going to make him look any better than he did last year. It's going to be LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Coach Ham figuring out how to get more out of him at a price that is just impossible to build around. It's impossible. Now, if I'm a team with all the cap space in the world, like, say, ironically, OKC, I can bring in his cap situation. I can bring in his $47 million, play it this season, and bring everything I need to him if I just want to go kamikaze and blow up my situation. If I just had to build around Russell Westbrook at $47 million, if I had a free cap situation, I could definitely build around him. Now, I don't think it would be the best thing in the world, but the represented cap space to make sure that my team is good is available to me, instead of being something that is a necessity within that $47 million needing to be someone else. So, you see what I'm saying? No. Everywhere you look in regards to this contract, everywhere you turn, it makes no sense for the Lakers to willingly keep it. The only reason why you don't let go of it is because you're getting back something that makes you worse cap-wise. As to which you're not actually doing yourself any favors, so you're never going to regret it anyway. This is what the Lakers are dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it is. That's all it's going to be until we get rid of him. And don't think just because he's not gone by mid-season, or rather by the start of the season, that he won't be gone a couple weeks into the season. At any point, if the Lakers are able to get rid of that $47 million contract, it's gone. It's gone. So I'm not going to panic thinking that just because he starts the season a Laker, that he's going to end the season a Laker. Again, that $47 million needs to be about 3 or 4 players. It needs to be. That's Rob Pelinka's job. And every time he looks at that roster, he's going to see that $47 million, and he's going to look at the rest of that roster and see stuff that needs to be there, and he's going to know that that's why he can't get what it is he needs. He went through that last year. I don't believe he wants to go through that again this year. Looking at that $47 million and then saying, man, I really need Jeremy Grant, but I can't afford him because he's going to be needing to make 25. No. No one's signing up for that. If you're a GM and you think like a GM, you don't want those circumstances. So trust you me, everybody wants Russell Westbrook gone, including Russell Westbrook. And he'll be gone. As far as I can tell, the only thing that keeps it from happening is, again, price. Someone telling us they're going to give us freaking some arbitrage contract attached to some scrub and then like a second round pick. As to which the Lakers say, no, I'll keep Russell Westbrook and let him expire and then have my own $47 million in the next season. So that's what we need to prepare ourselves for, as to which we know next season we're not going to be very good. If we have to keep Russell Westbrook at $47 million, we're not going to be good. So, and that's what I tell Russell Westbrook. Listen, man, I believe wholeheartedly that you're supposed to take every coin from the NBA. Sort of like Melo. You really should. I didn't believe that growing up, but now that I'm older, I know those checks stop coming. You know what I mean? You need to maximize your opportunity to get money. But if you're wealthy, if you're Bron wealthy, AD wealthy, Westbrook wealthy, those guys have made hundreds of millions of dollars. They're up. They're up. Generational wealth is real to them. They don't have to chase a dollar anymore. Everything they do for the rest of their life is passion. Maybe Russell Westbrook should consider investing in the Lakers so that he can have a happier go in his hometown. Because that's what it is. When we talk about what we're doing here, professional athletes are investing in themselves. That's how the cap is set up. If you want to play with better players, you got to give back some money. That's that simple. If you don't want to have a situation where people are expecting you to represent $47 million worth of basketball, then you give back what it is you need to give back to assure that that $47 million is represented on your team. It's what the business is. And I don't think they really explain that to athletes properly. I know I've said it once before on this camera, but that's what it is. If you can't play $47 million worth of basketball, you shouldn't want to be responsible for $47 million worth of basketball. You see what I'm saying? You shouldn't. You shouldn't want that. Because what that's going to do is put a strain on your body, right? Because you're not going to have the teammates, so you're going to have to play. You're going to be the one doing them 48. You're going to be the one having to guard that dude. You're the one that's going to have to play with 5 fouls in situation. You're the one that's going to be responsible for not turning the ball over. You're going to be the one who's going to have to answer questions when there's defensive holes all over the place that's going to force you into situations and make you look bad, right? And ain't nobody going to understand that. And it ain't going to be nobody's fault but yours, because you didn't invest in yourself to assure that you had enough help to give you a good season. 82 games plus playoffs. When a guy busts his knee up and he's making $47 million and he's been playing 48 minutes for 20 straight games because he don't have no teammates, it ain't nobody's fault he gone down with that knee injury but him. Ain't nobody's fault but him, because he did not want to invest in his team. You want to lead your team, but you don't want to invest in it. You want to blood, sweat, and tears in it, but you don't want to put no money toward it. See, and that's where athletes need to understand. You, unfortunately, are in a system to where you have to invest your own money in order to get out of it what you should. Now, do I think that's a good system? I ain't really thought it out. I ain't gonna lie to you, I haven't thought it out. On its surface, it seems a little funny, but you know, it is what it is. I think the owners should probably be forking over all those bills, but you know, I don't know. I don't know the economics of it all. What I can say though is, until the system is changed, athletes are gonna have to look at it that way, brother. If you make $47 million this year, and your team has their entire cap space wrapped up in 4 players, you're gonna look bad next year. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna look bad next year. You're not gonna have a team that's gonna make you look good. You're not gonna have a team that's gonna cover up your holes, your weaknesses. You know, a team like Boston, a guy like Marcus Smart can miss 7-8 shots. A guy like Grant Williams can have 2 rebounds, still win the rebound total for his team because there's so much talent around him to supplement what it is he doesn't do. You put him in a situation where he's the only rebounder, the only shooter. You put him in a situation where he's the only defender. I'm not looking at him the same way. He's responsible for success or failure. He doesn't have a full team helping him, and that's exactly what's about to happen to those 3 next year because of all that money they make and how little the Lakers have in every other category of their cap situation. We don't have nothing. You know what I mean? We don't have the picks to go get us a guy. We don't have the cap space to go grab a guy. No, that is represented in those 3 contracts. So, what it is, man. Laker fans are starting to buzz about it. Russell Westbrook showing up to our press conference, acting like he wants to be a part of this thing. There's a lot of fans who are looking at it the way that I just described. Like, yo, we like all this, but you and I both know what we need. We need you to not take that $47 million. That's what we need. And we need you to not take that $47 million so we can give it to about 4 other guys that are going to make our team very good next year. That's what we need. And if Russell Westbrook's willing to do something like that, then he could be a part of this thing, not look as bad next year, actually have an opportunity at a championship maybe. If he get back that $47 million, it brings us back to 2 max players. We can definitely get our team then. That's what we had in 2020. We won it. AD and Bron, they already won it when they had 2 max. It's when we brought in that $47 million third contract that put us in a position we couldn't build nothing. Now we got to get Trevor Ariza, and we got to get other players that we don't really want to have on our team who should be other guys making that $47 million. So that's it, man. That is all. I wanted to share that with you guys. Get that out there into the wide open air. Tell people that the Laker Nation, the Laker front office, I believe, is seeing things clearly. They're just covering their bases. Coach Ham was awesome. I'm supposed to be reacting to that press conference. If anything I took from Coach Ham, he told us that what happened to him in '88. He had accidentally gotten shot in the face. And that put him in a position to kind of not really be afraid. I thought that was important because it does speak to how big basketball is versus what it's not. Basketball is a pressured sport. It can have a lot of stress attached to it. It can really mess with your mental health if you don't take care of it. And understand what the pressure actually is versus what it is that you do to yourself when you're taking on that pressure. I think if you don't have all that in order, it can mess with you. And obviously being a Laker, it's even heightened. It's even more so heightened. So that's something I'm looking at. I want to see the Los Angeles Lakers continue to give credence to that and try to help guys like Coach Ham and Russell Westbrook just get acclimated into what we're doing. So that process can be a lot easier for them to settle into. Rasheed Wallace, I'm excited about hiring him. I know people are getting mixed feelings about that, but I just think he'll help Anthony Davis. Light a fire under Anthony Davis. Give us a toughness about our brain trust. You know what I mean? And that is something I think is invaluable. Now, I think Coach Ham is going to have to offset that by getting real strategists, real mature guys, get him an older guy to kind of reel it in so that we don't have a second team on our coaching bench, which is something that we don't want to have happen. And what I mean by that is you got to have an adult in the room. I respect Rasheed Wallace, but he's going to be, we know Rasheed. Rasheed going to be Sheed. And Darvin Ham is a rookie coach. I want a Lionel Hollins or somebody to be the big bro there, right? I want that because those are 2 rookie coaches. That can't be your full brain trust with LeBron James. You're going to need that guy who's older, who's going to be able to settle in. Obviously, I want to keep Phil Handy. That should be a no-brainer. Phil Handy, somebody we want to keep regardless of what's going on. I hope the Lakers have his money ready. But we're going to need some, I want a Lionel Hollins, Jason Kidd kind of guy to help Darvin Ham, help Rasheed Wallace, reel it in, and just give him that old school experience that comes with that. We need that balance there. So I'm looking to see how he forms that coaching staff. So far, so good. I'm on board with Rasheed Wallace. The only negative that I would even consider is the fact that he could cost us points in the playoffs with technicals. That's it. I think his basketball acumen is to be respected. I think his position and point of view is relatable to Anthony Davis and Owinion, Gabriel, and some of these other guys that we'll probably bring in. And, he's defensive-minded. Rasheed Wallace has always been defensive-minded, who could also score a great deal and help his team. But he was getting his money, blocking shots, being tall, rim protecting, rebounding the ball. I think Rasheed Wallace is going to help Anthony Davis tremendously. And I'm on board with that hiring. And I think Darvin Ham got it right. So I just want to see us continue to do that, man. Offset that hire with a mature hire, someone that we could say is stable, who's going to be the adult in the room, so to speak. I think that's important. I think we need to be honest about that. So that's what it is, man. I'm just looking to see what the Lakers do next. Obviously, we want to get into that second round, man. We want that second round pick of this year so we can put ourselves in a position to have a new young player to run with. THT and Austin Reeves, of whom we believe in a great deal. It's important that we continue to value Malik Monk I know that he's talking about getting $15 million this upcoming season. Obviously, you can't give him that if Russell Westbrook's at 47. But, this is another reason why we need to make sure that we get rid of that contract so we can keep our shot maker. Because, look, we've mentioned this a lot, but you can see what's going on in Dallas and Miami and these different teams. Boston, they need scorers. They need shot makers. You can build defense all you want, but if your score is 89, 80, it's a good chance you lost. So you want guys like Malik Monk who can hit shots in the midst of all that chaos and all that, a surefire bucket. So if you got to pay $15 million to a Malik Monk, I think you should give it to him. Honestly, I do. I think you should secure that money and give it to him because he can be a designated 20-point, 18-point scorer who's going to play make and continue to get better. He's exceeded all of our expectations. I thought he should have got our mid-level last year. He outplayed that too, and I think he's owed the money. I think he is. I thought about it a great deal. I know he doesn't help you defensively as much. I put more value on that defensive aspect of things at the beginning of this playoffs than I do right now. I have much more respect for shot makers and what it is that they bring to a table, particularly for defensive teams that don't score. They are needed, and I think a guy like Malik Monk is going to have his payday whether we give it to him or not, so we'd better have his money ready. So that's what I got to say, man. I wanted to get that out there. Also, in regards to Darvin Ham, I like just how he spoke of, wanted to establish culture, wanted to establish playing styles that connect both the defense and the offensive side of the ball. I thought that was key because those two sides do connect. I always mention how offensive rebounding can offset brick shots and things of that nature. Defensive rebounding can take away second chance possessions from a team that's hot. Those type of things help you beat teams that have advantages against you. And so when you put those two things together and you strategize both sides of the floor and have a mindset for both sides of the floor, I think it really helps with your coaching style. I do think he should still get himself an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. I think the most impressive teams that I've seen have had head coaches that have specialists behind them in those key areas. I think that's a smart way to build. Get your defensive guy, get your offensive guy. Even if you have a mind for those two things, get guys for that. That's the way I would build. So, yeah, that's how I'm looking at. Just really excited, man. Coach Ham. The thing about him that I can honestly say is he kept me attentive, man. Like, I listened and followed its every single word. I never wavered from the screen for as long as he spoke. And I didn't think that was just happenstance. I didn't think that was just a thing. That was a thing that he drew me to. Like, I was focused on him, how he spoke, how he provided a certain vision for what it is that he wants to see this team be. And you just found yourself listening. And if I find myself listening like that in my phone, then I can guarantee you Austin Reeves is going to be like that. Wenyen Gabriel's going to be like that. Malik Monk's going to be like that. THT's going to be like that. And hopefully, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook, if he's still here, will be like that as well. And if they do, as he said, that will trickle down to other guys respecting what it is that he says. And I think our stars are very good at that. And I think judging from what I've seen, they're going to have a very, very, very optimistic start about respecting this coach, those superstars. I think they're going to come in with a certain level of respect for him, and it's going to be up to him to keep that respect, in my opinion, which I think he's going to do. I think he's going to do that. I think we got ourselves a real coach if we can just let him make his mistakes. And that's going to be the discipline for myself personally throughout the regular season, from game to game to game. I tend to bash coaches. Vogel drove me crazy, all that. But I think what I want to do in regards to Coach Ham is remember that he's a rookie coach. Remember that there's something to be established from year to year to year with him rather than from game to game to game. And I think that once we understand that how what it is that he does and what he's about, from there it's just going to be about being patient. Because we know our roster is not no good. So there's going to be games we lose. We know we're going to have games we're going to get blown out. I can tell you that in June. We're going to have games where we're not going to win. But how we approach those games, in-game adjustments, how he uses whatever the roster is, even if it's a bunch of dudes that look like me, can he get the most out of them, those type of things, we're going to be looking for as the season progresses. And I'm not looking to judge him for really anything until probably year 2, to be honest with you. rhythm of timeouts. I'm poised to be concerned about that just because he's a rookie coach. Substitution patterns or rotations, that's a real pet peeve for us Laker fans. We've had such bad memories of bad rotations, so hopefully he'll give us good vibes in that way. And just strategy. You know what I mean? Sometimes he's going to be going up against coaches that are legendary. Not everybody can beat Ime Udoka, man, and just beat legendary coaches like they ain't nobody. We got to let Darvin Ham be whoever it is that he's going to be. If he comes out the gates blazing like one of those guys, Nick Nurse or something like that, great. If he doesn't, it's going to be on Laker Nation to reel it in. Don't expect him to be Phil Jackson, right away or nothing stupid like that or ever, because Phil Jackson's Phil Jackson. But just let him be Coach Ham. Let him discover his style of play. Let him discover the guys he likes to use. Let us find out what guys respond well to his personality. Those things are all going to be taken into account. This first unit that we give him, we don't know him yet. So there's going to be situations, maybe not, where you say, okay, that player, he can't play under Coach Ham. Maybe he played well under Vogel, but under him, nah, we ain't getting the same effect. And that's a real thing. Everybody got to be poised and ready for that. It's a real thing. So, some of the stuff that we're used to seeing, which is obviously stuff we don't want to see again, we're not going to see. Rotations, how players are used, etc. All different. Very excited about it. So, all good things to say about Coach Ham early on. It's been about 14 hours since I actually watched the presser, so a lot of stuff isn't in my head. But what I took from him was the ability to capture someone's attention, the ability to gain the respect of the media right away, because it seemed like they took well to him. Everybody's happy with him across the board as it pertains to the presser. I haven't heard a single negative thing about that presser. And I enjoyed it. I thought everybody handled it really well. Him and Rob did a good job. I think they showed a genuine camaraderie up there, like they can work together, which is something that's encouraging. And I'm excited. I'm excited about the Lakers turning the corner. I don't expect us to win more than 30 games next year. I know, 30, 35 games. I really don't expect us to win that much. I think we're going to be a bad team. But you don't care. You don't care that you're going to be bad necessarily. So just that you see the changes you're looking to see, because you're going to be bad anyway. You know that. The question is, what are you going to do while you're bad? And the answer is, hire a coach that you believe in, try to build our way out of this, into the draft. Hopefully we can get a pick, and then try to move that Russell Westbrook contract. That's our job. That's what we got to do right now. So far, so good. So far, so good, Jimmy. So far, so good. BDL 44. Thank y'all for watching.